Keir Starmer is waking up to a nightmare today. And no, it's not just a bad polling day. His voters, the ones who rallied behind him when he seemed like the antidote to years of disillusionment, are leaving in droves. And this isn't some polite resignation. They're slamming the door on their way out, and the reasons why are both damning and deeply personal. Forget the typical political drama. This is a collapse. Even in the heartlands where Labour's roots run deep, the ground beneath Starmer is crumbling faster than anyone could have predicted. Take Broxtowe, for instance. For decades, this area was synonymous with Labour loyalty, a place where the party's values thrived. But not anymore. 20 councillors, yes, 20, have just quit the party, accusing Labour of abandoning its principles under Starmer's leadership. These aren't fringe members or fair-weather supporters. These are the people who've put their hearts and souls into Labour's mission for years. And now they're saying, enough is enough. They're citing everything from Labour's shambolic handling of the winter fuel allowance cuts to its tone-deaf stance on the war in Gaza. These are not small grievances. These are foundational issues, the kind of things that Labour used to champion. Now, Starmer is on the wrong side of his own base, and it's showing. The fallout isn't confined to local politics, either. Nationally, Labour's numbers are plummeting. Some reports suggest the party could lose as many as 134 seats in the next election. That's not a warning sign, that's a full-blown political funeral procession. And it's not just the voters who are fed up. Even Starmer's own MPs are starting to panic. One anonymous MP, clearly too nervous to attach their name to the comment, admitted that if the polls don't improve soon, the party could be doomed. When your own allies are whispering about doom, it's safe to say the ship is taking on water faster than anyone can bail it out. Then there's the grooming gangs issue, arguably one of the most infuriating missteps of Starmer's leadership. A recent YouGov poll revealed that over 3/4 of Britons want a national inquiry into grooming gangs. Yet, Labour voted against it. Let that sink in. Starmer's party actively blocked an inquiry into one of the most heinous, ongoing crimes in Britain today. His justification? That victims want action rather than another inquiry. Newsflash, you can do both. His reluctance here isn't just a political blunder. It's a moral failure. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp didn't mince words, calling the vote disgusting and accusing Starmer of using Labour's majority to bury the issue. When your approach to something as serious as child exploitation is this tone-deaf, you don't deserve the public's trust. And if you think that's bad, wait until you hear about Labour's immigration debacle. Starmer promised to get tough on illegal crossings, but the numbers tell a different story. Small boat crossings have surged by 29% since Labour took power. In just 6 months, over 36,000 people have made the journey. Starmer's response? A pathetic 5% deportation rate for small boat arrivals. That's not tough. That's a joke. Meanwhile, he's trying to spin his way out of this disaster, boasting about deportation numbers that have nothing to do with small boat crossings. Even his own Shadow Home Secretary called Labour's immigration policy deeply dishonest. If that's not a sign of a leadership crisis, what is? The economic situation under Starmer isn't any better. Borrowing costs are at a 30-year high, the pound is struggling, and the cost of living crisis is squeezing families across the country. Starmer's solution? Raise taxes. But not just any taxes. He's targeting farmers with inheritance tax, threatening to destroy family businesses that have existed for generations. And in the midst of an energy crisis, his Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, has decided to cut winter fuel payments for pensioners. It's like Labour is actively trying to alienate everyone who isn't a millionaire living in London. What's worse is the betrayal of the WASPy women, 3.6 million pensioners who have been fighting for justice after changes to their pensions left them in financial turmoil. Starmer promised compensation, but now he's backtracking, leaving these women to fend for themselves. And it's not just them. Younger voters, who backed Starmer in hopes he'd address the crushing weight of student debt, are now realizing they've been duped. Tuition fees remain untouched, and the promise of progress has turned into more of the same. Even within his own party, Starmer's support is evaporating. Labour is fracturing over major issues like Gaza, immigration, and the economy. MPs are openly criticizing him, with some reportedly plotting a leadership challenge. It's a civil war, and Starmer is losing control. Public confidence in him is at an all-time low, with polls showing that only 21% of voters trust Labour to run the country. For reference, that's a lower trust rating than some of the most disastrous periods in Labour's history. And then there's Elon Musk. Yes, even the tech billionaire has weighed in, branding Starmer as the Starmer Trooper and accusing him of covering up institutional failures during his time as Director of Public Prosecutions. Musk's criticisms have gained traction, with many Britons agreeing that Starmer's handling of the grooming gang scandal was nothing short of a disgrace. When someone like Musk, who commands a global audience, starts calling you out, the damage to your reputation goes global. This isn't just a bad week for Keir Starmer, this is a kind of collapse that ends careers. The public is losing faith, his party is falling apart, and the polls are a disaster. At this rate, Starmer might not even make it to the next election. Britain deserves better, and it's becoming clearer by the day that Keir Starmer is not the leader who can deliver.